Cold outreach is one of the best ways to get clients, but if you're starting out, you might have trouble choosing between the most popular outreach methods. That's why I'm going to compare both cold calling and cold email to help you choose and start doing outbound sales. I'll touch on targeting, setup time, effort, leads, cost, scaling and iteration, and lastly pros and cons, so that by the end of this video you'll have a clear understanding and you'll be able to decide which is best for you. First, let's talk about targeting. Cold email is great if you're targeting small business owners that are likely to answer. These are people like spa owners, contractors, roofers, etc. But if you're targeting CEOs of tech startups or e-commerce store owners, most of the time you won't even find their number anywhere. That's where cold email comes in. Cold email is a great way to reach literally anyone, because almost everyone has an email that you can find in lead databases or anywhere else. This makes cold email perfect for both B2B and B2C. Broad assumption is this: if you're targeting small business owners who provide services in real life, cold calling will reach them faster. If you're targeting anyone else, you'll get to them via cold email. Setup time is way faster for cold calling. To start doing cold calls, all you need is one of these bad boys or a pair of headphones and a Skype account. But for cold email, it will take you way longer. Buying and setting up domains and mailboxes will take you a few hours unless you're using MailForge. And even when you're done with that, you'll need at least 14 days to warm up your inboxes. So the first point goes to cold calling. If you don't factor in the setup, cold calling takes a lot more effort than cold email. You need to actively dial numbers, wait for your leads to pick up, pitch them if they do, and track everything manually. You need to manage huge lists, see who you followed up to, who else needs to be followed up. It's a huge mess. You'll sit there for 8 hours a day doing nothing but cold calling. Cold email, on the other hand, is all automated. Unless you're sending physical cold emails in envelope carried by pigeons, the software will do all the heavy lifting for you. Initial emails and follow-ups will all be sent for you while you're doing more important stuff, whatever that is. So the second point goes to cold email. Finding leads is pretty similar for both methods. You can either scrape them or buy them. Where you find those leads might be different, but the tactics are the same. If you want to learn how to find leads, check out the Salesforce channel for tutorials on lead generation, and subscribe while you're at it. Both cold calls and cold emails cost you something. If you want to make cold calls, you'll have to pay for phone services and that's it. Now for cold emails, you'll have to pay for domains, mailboxes, validation credits, and the email outreach software itself. Cold email definitely costs a bit more than cold calling, so a point goes to cold calling. Scaling is one of the most important parts when doing cold outreach. Once you find a perfect outreach message or find the best untapped lead database, you want to go at it with full speed. To do that with cold calling, you'll need to find highly skilled talent that knows how to sell and handle objections. You'll need real people sitting and dialing their phones from 9 to 5 every time you want to increase the volume. You'll have to hire and manage or even train someone new whenever you want to reach out to 1,000 more people a week. It will cost you thousands, not just dollars, but also your brain cells that you'll sacrifice due to stress and micromanagement. But if you want to do the same with cold email, all you need to do is go to MailForge, buy domains and mailboxes, warm them up, and add them to your sequence. That's literally it. No staff to manage, nothing, and the cost of scaling up is minimal. You can send 30 emails per mailbox per day, and one mailbox will cost you as little as $1.67. So do your math there. Real problems with cold calling come when you want to start A/B or other type of testing. Because of human error, it's really hard to test certain variables. Also, tracking it all makes it 10 times more complicated. There are hundreds of things you can't account for that may influence your tests, which makes all of it extremely difficult. Whereas with cold email, A/B testing and improving based on data is easy. Your metrics are updated every time you refresh the app. You can A/B test email copy, subject lines, or anything else just by fiddling with settings or adding a new sequence. It's so easy that once you start it, you'll never get enough of it. Another point for cold email. Now, if everything I told you hasn't helped you decide what to choose, let me share some other things. Cold calling is super time consuming, and it might be draining if you can't take a lot of no's thrown directly at you. Scaling is extremely difficult as well, because you physically have to be dialing and dialing. If you have thick skin and persistence and a lot of time but little money to invest, then cold calling is a great option. It's good direct contact. Cold email costs a bit more to set up, but in the long run, if you're scaling, it's a lot cheaper than cold calling. It's automated, easier to A/B test, and can be targeted more efficiently. If you do it right, and if you watch Salesforce, you should be doing it just right, you'll run into little to no problems. Let me know if you have any more questions down below, and subscribe to Salesforce for more videos like this. Bye!